what ukiyo-e is, what haiku is. Okay, so page 44, we have this description. Japanese no drama or no kaku. Kaku means art, no umak, and no means 능, capability or whatever, skill, technology, whatever. So basically, no derived from the sino. Sino means Chinese. Chinese Japanese word for skill or talent. No is a major form of classical Japanese musical drama. So no kaku, you understand why they, Japanese, want to use these Chinese letters, no kaku. Basically, what is no? A musical drama. Okay, a musical drama, no. That has been performed since the 14th century. Developed by Kanami and his son Ami, it is the oldest major theater art still regularly performed today. Okay, very, very ancient genre of musical drama is no, Japanese no. Traditionally, a no program includes 5 no plays. So 5 no acts, 5 musical dramas, act 1, act 2, like that. And there are some more descriptions, but you may want to read later. Skip the part and let's read the second paragraph. No is often based on tales from traditional literature, like legends or folk tales or, things like that. This is very interesting. Who is the hero or a heroine of the no? A supernatural being transformed into human form. Okay, so musical drama performed by a human form, but actually, a supernatural being, a spirit or soul or fairy or whatever, deity. Supernatural being transformed into human and lead the narrative of musical drama. That is the major characteristics of no. Okay. Second major characteristics is no integrates masks. So a supernatural being transformed into human form wears a mask. Okay, so there are many performers wearing each different mask. Okay. Also, various props appear in this no drama. We identified one of the major characteristics of no is musical drama. Since a musical part is included, naturally dance part also included in no drama. So dance-based performance it is. So there is a dance, there is a music, and there is a performance. Kind of comprehensive, drama is called no drama. Requiring highly trained actors and musicians. Okay. Don't we have such a genre in Korean culture as well? 생각이 안 나네. 이런 거 없나? 판소리는 아니고. 뭐 있지? Emotions are primarily conveyed by stylized conventional gestures. So these performers, highly trained actors and musicians, usually, make conventional gestures. There is a grammar. You have to, wave your hands in a particular way, move your feet in a particular way, talk in a particular tone. There is a set rules for this kind of highly trained actor or musician should follow in no drama. Okay, so before watching any no drama, you had better read the descriptions, conventional grammars, conventions, or conventional gestures these actors would make in the drama. Okay, so written in ancient Japanese language. Oh, no. Okay. While the iconic masks represent the roles such as ghost, so one actor may wear a mask of a ghost, and the other actor may wear a mask of woman. So the performer's gender or sexuality does not matter. A male may play the woman female character by wearing a mask of a woman. Okay, it is a genre drama in a way. So iconic masks represent the roles such as ghosts, women, children, and old people, meaning that whatever no drama you watch, you almost always watch ghost figures, women figures, children figures, and old folks figures. Okay, so written in ancient Japanese language, the text vividly describes the ordinary people of the 12th to 16th centuries. So the time setting of any no drama is 12th century to 16th century. That is why no drama is a very ancient, really ancient genre drama. Okay, so you may imagine how different the language of no drama is that of current day Japanese. Just like old English is so different from modern English. Basically, two languages are different languages. Anyhow, having a strong emphasis on tradition rather than innovation, that is also another feature of no drama. Japanese, no actors do not want to change anything. Their major purpose is stick to the tradition, stick to the convention, just to copy as realistically as possible the conventions. Okay. Put strong emphasis on tradition. No is extremely codified. Codified meaning following the grammar of the convention. And regulated, you understand regulated, by the Iemoto. Iemoto is Japanese, meaning family foundation. Okay, Ie means house, family. Moto means things, family thing in literal sense. So this paragraph is really important, for you to memorize all the specifics to describe no drama. Okay? Good. So this is one image of no drama. This actor wears a mask. It is hard for you to figure out which mask this actor wears right now. But as far as I can see, it's a mask of a woman, I think. Woman, not old man, because there is no beard. Okay? Anyhow, there is a stage, very stark stage, no decorations, just a stage, and actor wearing traditional costume. And this actor holds a pen, right? Pen, and wears the color scheme may be very traditional as well. And there are musicians in the background. So this picture suggests musical dance drama of no genre. Okay. So there is no we can imagine there is no conversation or, not much of conversation part. 뭐지? 알림 수주리. And this is very interesting. I told you we read a paragraph in which a new performance wears a mask. This is one of the masks, old man's mask. It is iconic mask. People who like no drama usually, think about this mask as the most frequently, appearing character. Kojo, old man mask. And think about the mask in the middle is just a mask. However, if you move a camera like this mask in the middle changes the facial expressions like this and moves. I'm sorry, this is the, to the front side of the mask. This is the mask front side looking at the center, and change the camera, the eye part, expression of eye part changes. If the camera moves a little bit more, then the eye part, looks down more downward, and the facial expression and emotional tone gets different. So wearing one mask, an actor just to lower his or her face or up, look up the ceiling or something, and that way, the performer transmits his or her emotions and feelings, and totally creates another atmosphere, scene change, things like that. So as you see in this image, every detail is very simple in no drama. The floor is simple, the wall is simple. There is only, drawing of trees. This is not any prop. The simple stage, simple attire, and wearing only one mask. By changing the following the conventional way of changing the head part and hand part and body part or knee or foot part, no actor just tries to, communicate his or her feelings or try to send some strong emotions or messages. So it sounds very simple. However, don't you think no drama sounds very abstract? Because there is little dialogue between characters. Only one character stands out, appears, and talks about what is going to happen without least action. Just tilting his head part a little bit or move his hand a little bit. Very simple, but so difficult to understand, I guess, as for the audience, because every other thing should be imagined by the audience. So it is not an easy genre to appreciate. Anyhow, the masks are some examples, representative masks of no drama. Okay. What is the function of a mask? Even though the mask covers an actor's facial expressions, the use of the mask in No is not an abandonment of the facial expressions of an actor altogether. Rather, the mask's intent is stylize or codify the facial expressions through the use of the mask and to stimulate the imagination of the audience. By wearing a mask, no actors just to repeat or copy the ancient rules of the genre, because those performers should not want to change anything from the convention. They do not want to make any innovation. Their sole purpose, the whole objective or supreme objective of performing an action is copying, reproducing the ancient pattern over and over and over. Okay, so here that means stylize, codify. You understand these expressions? By using masks, actors are able to convey emotions in a more controlled manner. So whenever, wearing this woman's mask, the actor may control his personal emotions. Sometimes, actors, carry himself or herself away by being so absorbed into the narrative. It depends day by day. In order to prevent such a little change, actors are expected to wear this stylized mask and transmit only regulated image required from the convention. Okay. So it is virtually impossible for an actor to laugh wearing this pathetic mask, don't you think? Anyhow, some masks utilize lighting effect to convey different emotions through slight tilting of the head, facing slightly upward or brightening the mask. Okay, facing still slightly upward, meaning press this one, the second one. Brightening the mask, let the mask to capture more light, revealing more features that appear laughing or smiling. Facing downward or clouding, maybe this facing downward, and the lingo of the facing downward is clouding. By clouding, the actor will cause the mask to appear sad or mad. So this facial expression is interpreted by the audience as sad or mad. Okay. And this one, laughing, smiling, because it means brightening. Okay. Anyhow, it is rough, but still you may have some, information of what no drama is, what kind of characteristics no drama has. And, the idea of using a mask to communicate an actor's, emotions and feelings made a huge impact on Pound. He kind of interpreted, no aspect, into something he may apply to poetry, because there is a poetic speaker as well. In every poem, there is a speaker. In 19th century, a speaker was identified to be the poet himself or herself. So usually when you read a poem by Wordsworth or Tennyson, I like to wonder as freely as possible. I means the poet himself, Tennyson or Wordsworth. However, in Ezra Pound's poem, I, the speaker of the poem, may or may be not the poet himself. Sometimes I is, I is the poet himself, but sometimes I is the persona who wears this kind of mask. Okay, so that part is called mask theory, 마스크 이론이라고 pound가 붙였다라는 거예요. Influenced by this mask in no drama, Pound formulated a mask theory. Right now, it is very ordinary and common for you to identify the poetic speaker. Oh, it is the poet himself, or it is a character. However, it was all possible due to Ezra Pound's mask theory. Before Pound, there was no idea of dividing the poet himself and the speaker himself. Okay, only after Pound, a poet started to incorporate a character in his or her poem. Understand? Okay, so mask theory originated from Japanese no drama. Now, Japanese poetic genre or ancient poetic genre is a haiku. There is many ancient poetic genres in Japan. Haiku is one of those ancient genres. Okay. Haiku is a poetic form made of 17 syllables. Only 3 lines. One line, 5 syllables. Second line, 7 syllables. Third line, the last line, 5 syllables. So it is made of 17 syllables, whose essence is cutting. In Japanese, kiru. This is often represented by the juxtaposition of 2 images or ideas, or kireji, cutting word, kireji. Between them, a kind of verbal punctuation mark, which signals the moment of separation and colors the manner in which the juxtaposed elements are related. So cutting means, in a word, colon or semicolon. Okay, so in any haiku, there are 2 ideas. One idea, the second idea. Okay, between 2 ideas, there is kind of a colon. Okay, so that colon is called in Japanese kireji. Kiru or kireji. Okay, I told you a kind of colon because there is no colon. Colon is part of English. Japanese, in the Japanese language, there is no colon. So cutting word, a Japanese word that functions like a colon, is called kireji. Okay, so between the kireji, there is one idea and there is another idea. And the appreciation of a haiku is imagining the relationship between 2 ideas. That is the fun part of why you want to read a haiku. Again, to me, Japanese cultural genres are all abstract. The most distinctive feature of Japanese culture, to me, is abstraction. They are not, descriptive as Western artists, Western cultural genres. There is a very concrete, descriptive story in painting, fine art, in music, or in drama, in novel, in poetry. All those Western culture. Westerners just prefer something very vivid, something very realistic, something very, detailed. So they are very realistic, However, in Japanese cultural genres, perhaps due to the influence of Zen Buddhism, 선불교 때문인지도, everything is just simplified and abstracted and very intellectual. you need to invest a lot of thinking into appreciating a painting, a music, or a drama, things like that. So haiku, it is a very simplified form, as you guess from the fact that it is made of 17 syllables. Only 17 syllables. We are not talking about words, talking about syllable, 음절이 17개밖에 안 되는 거예요. 그래서 it is a highly simplified poetic genre, so it sounds very abstract. So it may be hard for you at the beginning to think about the relation between the first idea and the second idea, divided by kirezi. However, if you get accustomed to haiku poems, then you will finally get the hang of it and know how to appreciate a haiku. Okay, let's read the best known Japanese haiku here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 words composes a haiku. The first, this is the haiku. This is it. The line, this one, is, hiragana of this one, this line. And it is, 17 syllable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 16, 17. Okay? For you, I just divide it like this, 1, 2, 3 lines. But usually, haiku is one line. Read in hiragana, one line. Only 17 syllables. So short. You may wonder, is this a poem or just poetic line? Because of the, shortness. I just, divided. These 3 lines are, made by me. Okay. You will just see one line like this. So, 후루 이케야 카와주 토비코무 미즈 노 오토. Okay. By reading, you hear 17 syllable 음절을 듣는 거죠. What is the meaning? No meaning. Okay. I'm sorry, I did not include the English translation of Japanese. However,
교수님 밑으로 내려가시면은 있던데요.
그래요? 어디? 이건 아니에요.
아니요.
이거는 다른 하이쿠예요. 요 하이쿠예요.
네.
요거 아라 우미야 사도니 요코타우 아마노가와. That is this another haiku. Okay. We are talking about this haiku. And I wonder why I didn't, include English translation. Anyhow, 후루이케야 라는 거는 뭐냐면 in English, in an old pond인 거예요. 후루이케야, in an old pond. 카와즈 토비코무 개굴, a frog, one frog jumps. 여기 있죠? A frog가 점프해서 들어간다. A frog jumps and goes into the water. Then, what is the one idea and what is the another idea? One idea is 후루이케, 오래된 old pond. There is no decorative adjectives at all. This is just old pond, simplified. So you have to imagine an old pond. How old, you know? The second idea, a frog, jumping frog. Jumping frog. Now, what kind of frog do you imagine? A small green one, or dark big one, or a black a little one? There are colors of a frog, you know? You have to imagine what size of a frog in order to appreciate the meaning of this poem. 오토 no 미즈 no 오토 미즈수 미즈 the water, the sound of the water. 미즈 means water. 오토 means sound. What is the point of this poem? Fun part of this poem? According as the size of a frog, the sound of the water may hear to the audience, you know, loud or weak, small. 그렇잖아요. If you imagine a big frog, big dark brown frog, then the sound would hear like 퐁당. However, you know, if you imagine a small little tiny black, you know, blackish frog, then the sound of the water may hear like, you know, 퐁당, 톡, 톡, 펄. 그죠? So it depends upon how you or the reader imagine a jumping frog, the meaning of the sound of the water. It depends upon the audience. Therefore, there is a parody of this famous poem, you know, famous haiku, Basho's old poem. It means 101 ways of imagining, you know, the sound of the water when a frog jumps into. 101가지 소리라고 하는 101 parodies were made by using this original and publish it into a book. 101명의 사람들이 101가지의 variation을 만든 거, 이거에 대해서 이 하이쿠를 가지고. 그래가지고 책을 냈어요. 출판을 해버렸어요. 그런 정도로 really simple, only 17 syllables. However, we can make a play, you know, out of this simple, you know, simple and abstract haiku poem. How about this one? This is another haiku인 거죠. 아라우미야, 아라우미, 그러니까 우미라고 하는 것이 아라우미가 the rough sea인 거야. 우미가 sea거든요, 바다. 거친 바다에 이렇게 되는 거죠. 아라우미야. 사도니 요코타오, stretching out towards 사도. 사도로 향하는 길다란 어떤 것. 그러니까 one idea is rough sea. The other is something stretching out towards 사도. You have to make a connection between two. And what is it? Appreciate this one. The Milky Way, 은하수예요. 은하수인데 은하수가 여기 하늘의 강. The river of the heaven인 거잖아요. 그러니까 in English, you know, if we just say the constellation Milky Way, there is no connection at all between rough sea and something stretching out towards the shadow. However, if we make a connection between He, this Chinese letter, and Chun, this Chinese letter, and river, this Chinese letter. Then you finally get it. Ah, this rough sea is compared to the sea in the heaven called Milky Way. 은하수라고 불리는 것을 하는구나. 그러니까 you know the rough sea, you know the 은하수, and make a comparison. Then what kind of, spectacle is described or is imagined by you? A very, very beautiful. 그죠? So this probably rough is not a correct interpretation of, 알아. 그죠? 그냥 잔잔하게 흐르는 이게 류잖아요. 류. 해류 했을 때 류. 류라고 하는 한자 아나요, 여러분들? 류, flow 한다는 거예요. flow. 그러니까는 flowing sea가 더 맞겠죠. 근데 this person translated 류 into rough라고 한 거죠. That is why, if I were the translator, I would translate 류 into flowing, or waving differently, like this one. Anyhow, you know something about, now, haiku, a very short poem, and it always incorporates two ideas, and there is a clear cut between those two ideas, so that you have to imagine in your mind or brain the connection between two ideas and appreciate the significance of the final theme, 주제. So the short length, again, made a huge impact on Pound. Before Pound, when you read Wordsworth's poem or Tennyson's poem or whatever 19th century British poets' poems, the poem is very long, usually very long. However, when reading a haiku, Pound was really stunned by the shortness and the compactness, Meanings are just stacked one upon another. Still, have this strong image remains after reading this short poem. There is a sea in the heaven as well. We call it the Milky Way. Wow, that kind of very strong one strong image remains after reading and appreciating this 70-syllable haiku poem. So he realized that, in order to give the reader an impact, a poem should not necessarily be long. A poem may be very short, and yet can give a huge impact upon the reader's imagination, reader's mind, or reader's heart. So I'm going to shorten my poem. That must be, one of the major characteristics of my poetic modernism, my avant-garde experiment. You understand the meaning of avant-garde. Really radical, breaking the tradition, and experimental. So Pound's modernism is also avant-garde, modernism. So he just broke down the traditional length of one poem and just shortened, made his poem so short into, for instance, 2 lines. We are going to read, in the station of a metro later. However, that poem was originally written like 30 lines or something. And he cut it half, like 15 or 14, and then still felt very long. So he just curtailed the whole thing into 2 lines. He left 2 lines out of 30 or the long lines. All that kind of simplification was possible due to haiku's influence on pound. There was a new way, for pound to write a new style poem. That new style came from Japanese poetic influence. You understand? Okay. And another thing, Japanese ukiyo-e. Ukiyo-e means painting. Okay. Ukiyo means wood block print. So what is ukiyo-e? It is the genre of wood block prints. Ukiyo-e. Genre of wood block prints. This is the meaning of ukiyo-e. Okay. So affected the impressionist was called ukiyo-e, pictures of the floating world. Okay, literally, ukiyo-e. The literal translation of ukiyo-e is pictures of the floating world. Doesn't mean anything. It is literal translation. 직역한 거예요, 직역. ukiyo-e를 직역하면 떠 있는 세상의 그림들인 거고, 그것은 뭐냐 하면 나무판으로 목판화이잖아요. 목판화가 바로 우키요-에인 거예요. 목판화로 프린트물을 찍어내잖아요. 그죠? 그래서 그 목판화로 찍어낸 그림을 보고, 근데 목판화로 흑백 그림만 찍은 게 아닌 거예요. By using wood blocks and colors, color inks, Japanese, painters produced colorful prints 인 거예요. 그래서 컬러로 된 어떤 그 인쇄 종이로 된 그 그림 있잖아요. 붓으로 그린 게 아니라 컬러로 찍어낸 프린트를 대량으로 팔고 있었던 거예요. 우키요-에가 바로. 그죠? 목판화 그림이었던 거예요. 그래서 one of those wood block prints were, imported and, given to Monet. And Monet was hugely surprised to the advancement of technology, Japanese technology. So he wanted to, Monet had been exploring how to make his painting modern, new enough. So he was, experimenting with impressionist skills, as here. He kind of was experimenting a method of painting the same scene many times in order to capture the changing light and the passing of the seasons. Since all due to Einstein, artists realized that time is flowing constantly. Time is not static, Time flows in a block, all due to Henri Bergson. So there was a new idea of time. Now, Monet, struck by that idea of time flowing, he wanted to capture that flowing time on his canvas. Canvas is static. On that static canvas, Monet wanted to capture the flowness of time. So he visited the same scene over and over in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, and drew the picture by using different color inks. Because even though watching the same spot, the color of that nature changes according to the color, according to the time of the sun, and things like that, the environmental influence. So the color of the sun gets changes in the morning, in the afternoon, more at twilight. So he presented all those pictures and presented to the audience. My painting is about the flow of time. Thus, I call my painting style impressionist. There came, the impressionist to school. Now, since Monet had been exploring a new way of presenting nature, especially time, Japanese ukiyo-의 woodblock printing technique made a huge impact, because this method, this technology, woodblock printing technology, inspired him another experiment, another technique to innovate his painting. Okay, so along with impressionist technique, Monet could develop another technique to present his nature by importing, Japanese fine art technique called ukiyo-e technique. For instance, this is the woodblock print Monet obtained. And he was very impressed by this print. Why? Look at the structure of this print, kudo. What is the most outstanding feature in this print? 가장 눈에 띄는 구조가 뭐예요? 다리죠. The bridge. 다리가 가장 눈에 띄고, it is outstanding. The bridge is outstanding. Also, it just divide the canvas into halves. 다리가 캔버스를 2등분 해버리잖아요. Horizontally divide the canvas into two. 그리고 요 다리의 다리가, the legs of the bridge, this part가 also vertically, 그죠? vertically cut the latter half, the downside of this canvas. 이 아래쪽을 또 cut into half이잖아요. in proportionally. 밸런스 없이 그냥 이렇게 좀 proportion 없이 균형 없게 또 잘라버리잖아요. 그래서 the whole one canvas is divided into three spaces. This is space one, this space is second, this is space third. One space is divided into three. And each space has its own natural landscape. In this upper part, there is a sun or a moon, perhaps moon, let's say moon, moon and dark sky and trees. And in this part, there's a river and small boat and the sailor. And here, there is a river and small trees and part of an island, I guess. So audiences look at three landscapes all together on one canvas. That technique, that division, that Japanese way of using space struck Monet really strongly. You do not understand. in Western culture, painters thought that one canvas contained one landscape, one whole organic landscape. 하나의 캔버스는 one canvas means one space. 하나의 space고 one space means one organized, harmonized space. 하나의 풍경이 나와야 되는 거예요. 서양에서는. 그래서 여기에는 없네. 그래서 여러분들 보면 이게 반고의 그림이에요. 반고의 그림인데 하나의 풍경화니까 그 어떤 나무가 그러니까 과수원이나 orchards라던가 뭐 forest 뭐 이렇게 orchard가 벚나무 숲 같은 거예요. 체리 forest인 거예요. 그럼 체리 forest만 있는 거예요. 한 스페이스에. 그래서 audience shares the same space, one whole organic space인 거예요. 근데 이 프린트에는 구도가 나눠져 있으니까, 그죠? 전혀 풍경화에는 나눔이 없어요. 구도에 나눔이 없어요. There is no division at all in a Western landscape painting. It was considered no, 절대 해서 안 되는 거예요. To divide the canvas when you present a landscape painting. 풍경화 그릴 때는 디비전 하면 안 되는 거예요. 근데 재패니스가 이렇게 디비전 해버린 거예요. 이게 다리를 떡하니 그려가지고. 그러니까 문법 구도가 너무 신선하고 새로운 거예요. 그래서 모네 imitated this ukiyo-e into his own painting. 그래서 여기 inspired by this print, Monet, drew a similar painting, similar landscape by, putting this bridge forward and, put this bridge in the center, dividing his own canvas as well. 자기 캔버스도 분리를 해가면서. 그랬는데도 this painting, Monet's painting, is not as radical as woodblock print. 이만큼은 못 간 거예요. 더 나눌 생각을 할 수 없었던 거예요. 모네는. 그래서 Monet's interpretation of this ukiyo-e, the result is this one 인 거예요. 마찬가지로 지금 이걸 보면 시간이 지났으니까 we will get back to this ukiyo-e later on Thursday. Okay, see you on Thursday.